Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to my weekly update. Now it was of course today the autumn statement, and I'm sure many of you will have heard the Chancellor Jeremy Hunt outlined that statement in the House of Commons earlier today. From our point of view, I was pleased to see the Chancellor talking through a longer term, a 12-month approach, targeted approach for business with the energy bill relief scheme. I think this will be absolutely essential if we are, as he has committed to, and indeed the Prime Minister as well, to drill down on these inflationary costs. It's very clear from all the work that the NFU is doing that we are seeing massive contraction in some areas. And this is playing out most starkly right now in the egg sector, where of course producers are facing the double whammy of dealing with avian influenza and dealing with these skyrocketing input costs. It's absolutely vital that producers can renegotiate contracts, that contracts factor in these costs where they are rising, that those are taken into account. Quite honestly, failure to do so will see producers saying, actually, we've got to contract or we've got to pull out. We simply cannot afford to keep going. So this has formed the basis of all of our conversations upstream in the supply chain with retailers, with government. We need to come together and we need to act now, because unless producers can be given the confidence to make those big investments, they are going to be producing less. And it's a great sadness this week that we've actually seen eggs being imported into this country. We've also seen eggs being rationed. And I think this is only the tip of the iceberg. Sadly, the war in Ukraine shows no sign of ending. And we are going to have to come up with a variety of measures that will, as I continue to say, give producers the confidence to make these investments. Otherwise, if we keep contracting, that is going to drive further food inflation. And, we are facing into the fact that we will see shortages, we will see more rationing. This is a unique set of circumstances and it requires a unique response. So critical times right now, but I guess it really does bring to life what the team here at our headquarters in Stoneleigh, led by our Chief Poultry Advisor, Amy Mahoney, they are working round the clock on behalf of members. And so much of this, of course, cannot be played out in the public domain. Our legal team are at the moment forensically going through what a compensation package could look like. It isn't possible, it's too sensitive to be discussing that publicly, but I promise you it is ongoing. We are very, very clear with government. We have got to be able to see a compensation package from the moment of diagnosis. When APHA come out onto farm, diagnose AI, that is when the compensation package has to take place from. It is completely unacceptable with this world-class, unsupported sector that there is nothing in place for a disease outbreak that is leading to total market failure. So the double whammy of both is unsurprisingly driving shortages. So it's absolutely going to be a game changer, this, for the future of the industry. We will throw everything at it. As I say, our legal team all over this, and I'll keep you updated as and when we have more information that we can share with you. But in the meantime, please get in touch with your regional teams. Do phone the Call First service here. Go to NFU online. There is a lot of advice out there that is waiting for members. But the most important thing for us to establish is making sure that we get this compensation package in place and making sure that producers get a fair return out of the supply chain. It is unacceptable to keep on producing food, and indeed impossible to be producing it with these costs not being taken into account. It's about a fair return for everybody in that chain, and ultimately affordability for the consumer is of course paramount. But if we fail to act, the consumer is going to be the one that suffers as well with further inflationary costs. The Chancellor talked through effectively three themes that will be driving their sort of ambition for growth. He talked about energy, he talked about infrastructure, and he talked about innovation, making comparisons with wanting to see the UK effectively as a replica for Silicon Valley, whatever that might mean. But I think, it is driven by the fact of actually what wasn't mentioned. What does this mean? obviously commitment to Sizewell. Nuclear, we're lucky in many ways to still have the nuclear backup. Germany and other parts of Europe don't. So although we're in a better place than some member states, there really is a need to find this way through this. When I see food inflation where it is at over 15%, and I look at where inflation is, triple-digit inflation within the agricultural sector, we've got to give farmers and growers the confidence. I've mentioned to you before the Promar report that is out now. I've written to all the major retailers asking for discussion. The Promar report really looking into the challenges for growers right now. And again, of course, price, contractual relationships forming a major part of those discussions. We've simply got to be able to achieve a fair return for what we're producing. Fairness is a word I've used a lot, and it seems to be incredibly difficult to achieve. So with that, I'll probably pause there. It is, of course, full-on AGMs this season, and I'm about to jump in the car and head off to Gloucestershire AGM. I was at Somerset AGM earlier this week, and many more coming up next week, finishing up, I believe, in Devon on Friday. So I look forward to seeing many of you over the coming days, and really look forward to having those conversations with you. So in the meantime, as ever, please do take care. Many thanks.